I'm David Little, and for many years I was director of the Centre for Language and Communication Studies in Trinity College, Dublin, Ireland. I retired from my post there 3 years ago, but I have for many years been involved in a lot of international projects, especially ones coordinated by the Council of Europe in Strasbourg. And since I've been retired, of course, I've been free to travel to participate in all kinds of things in many different countries. With regard to the Council of Europe work, I've been particularly involved in promoting the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, especially through the European Language Portfolio, which was conceived 20 years ago at the same time as the framework, and developed as a sort of implementation tool for the framework. The idea is that the framework promotes a particular understanding of language learning and language use, and the portfolio serves to communicate that understanding directly to language learners. So I've been very much involved in both of those things. But for 10 or 11 years, the Council of Europe had a validation committee for the European Language Portfolio. In other words, it received draft portfolios from the member states and determined whether or not they conformed with the principles and guidelines that the Council of Europe had drawn up for the portfolio. And I was involved in the work of that committee for 11 years. When the last time we met, I think, we were talking about what are achievable goals in terms of language revival. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I remember saying was that it seems to me as an outsider that the thing is to try to focus in on the community rituals, the ways in which celebrations are held and what is celebrated and so on, and try to focus everything on that. Mm-hmm. Because those are the things that will give Oneida people a sense of separate identity. Mm-hmm. And it's the easiest thing then to root the language, I think, in that. Mm-hmm. If you said to me, is there any best way to link up what we're doing here with Oneida with the European work, I think I would say
that right there.
Focus on that and look for ways of adapting it. Look at, I mean, look at the themes. There must be a table of contents in here.
There's 10 themes. I remember reading them in there.
Yeah, look at those themes. Talk to the community. Find out whether those are the themes, mm-hmm. whether there are other themes, whether they need to be divided up, and so on, and so forth, and then adapt the descriptors that you find in here. Mm-hmm. Go to for that. You may have, I don't know, of course, anything about your culture, so I can't say, but you may have something that corresponds to this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if so, you can create a sort of overarching.
We do.
Thing.
We have the Great Law.
So that because that then provides something you can keep referring back to when you're looking at these shaded bits. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I would certainly maintain that distinction. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have to worry too much about this because we were dealing in the extreme east of Europe with Romanian, Bulgarian, so on, with people who were doing everything. Their whole lives were lived through this language. So you were supporting the teaching and learning of the language in school to reinforce what was happening or what was potential for happening in society at large.
Mhm.
But in other circumstances, as I say, I mean, the focus was here, like your learners being interested in the culture, the identity,
Right.
the history,
Right.
and all of that.